What's up, everybody? Brian here. You might have noticed we took a bit of an unscheduled break there. I apologize. I did not intend for that break to happen, but it turns out it was a little bit more difficult to edit on my trip than I thought it would be. But we're back at it now, and I just want to do a very big special thanks and shout out to Brock Holliday, former Venture Brothers researcher, now host of Damage Boost, the amazing video game podcast. He helped us out and edited this week for us, and without Brock, there would be no episode this week, so big thanks to Brock. And I really hope you enjoyed this episode. We should be good throughout the rest of the Fast series. We did a little calculation today when we recorded our episodes. Today we recorded episode 7, which is great. I'm really excited for it. And then after that, we have the rest of the series, and they should be coming out every week from now on. Again, I apologize. That's my own shitty scheduling. Yeah, that's it. Okay, enjoy the show. Bye! So, hi, welcome to Binge Buddies. Dominic's... I already fucked it up. Toretto's shitty tuna sandwich. Really wanted to say Dominic Toretto's shitty tuna sandwich. Damn. Oh, well. Me, your host, always Bryan Dressel. With me, as always, is Matt. Zombie Dog Mitsubishi Minica Lettuce Dykes.
Minica Lettuce?
Minica Lettuce.
For a minute there, I thought you said clitoris.
No, we're not
The
talking
mini
about
clitoris.
So for a spit take there.
I mean, that's guaranteed to take the podcast offline, really,
Yeah.
isn't it? Spitting all over his computer.
His
like
Wi-Fi
a
is
freeze
bad now.
frame of Brian. We'd have a freeze frame of Brian like this.
How hard to find is that car?
I mean, it looks like every car on the street, so I'm guessing not hard to find, but it looks super ugly.
You're just gonna rub it just right, and the doors will open for you.
Yeah, that's how it works. We also have Joel, AMC Gremlin DeWitte.
This tracks.
You know, if I can be named after a movie theater and a really decent movie, then I think we're doing okay.
That's fair.
Do they have you remember what was that car show with Exhibit?
Pimp My Ride.
Pimp My Ride. Yeah. Remember how they'd always have like the crazy TVs that would come up and
yeah.
This also comes with an Xbox in the back.
With 200 gigs of space. Wow.
Damn.
Playing Cruising USA while you're racing.
Ryan, do I have a doozy for you? We also have Ryan Honda. That's Lootens.
You know, that makes sense. That's fine. That's
I can't believe they called a car That's.
In the world of, identifying things every which way, I'll take that. Take that.
We really have run out of names, haven't we?
Oh my god, yeah.
I just can see the boardroom meeting though with like, what you should call the next car? That's
I like that.
The tagline on this.
I can't remember. And they're just like, we'll go with that. We'll go with that.
The tagline on this is hey, what's that car? It's the Honda That's. It's like,
Better than I'm not even gonna say that joke.
People got paid for that, right?
oh yeah.
People got paid to come up with that.
Yep. Oh yeah. It's a good one.
That car, Matt. That car, like it just rolls, man.
Oh, fuck.
What are we gonna call that car?
May we all be so lucky to fail that spectacularly.
I love the idea of a dealer just being like, wait, what car did Honda? What are they sending us? That's what the fuck is that? Exactly.
They want me to sell that. You already have half your pitch.
You like that car? Well, I've got a car for you.
That.
You guys
lo and
probably sold
behold,
it better
this
than I
car
ever
was
did.
never featured in a Fast and Furious movie. Although it would
There's still time.
I don't know. I mean,
more.
If they're rolling out the new DeLorean in these things, I don't think the Honda That's is going to show up. But I've been wrong before.
I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah. Although the new DeLorean NX did look pretty cool. Pretty pretty cool.
Is it still just two car chassis welded together awkwardly though?
I don't know. It's not really in the movie very much. It's just kind of like Charlize Theron rolls up in it, gets out of it, and then we need to see the car again. But like, it's like, oh, it was a DeLorean.
Spoiler.
That's because that's all they could get out of it to move from the sound of it.
All right, I'm gonna get in the back and push Charlize.
Yeah.
If I don't know if the brakes work, you're gonna have to get out.
Just do a barrel roll. You're gonna be fine.
Cut
Anyhow,
your hair, it's fine.
we should probably talk about the movie we're here to talk about, which is probably, you know, like we've said, we still have 2 or possibly 3 more left because The Rock is getting his own movie now instead of being part of 11. It's great ideas. But unless those 3 are somehow amazing, this is usually considered the best Fast and Furious movie. Widely assumed. Most people would argue with that. It's probably the only franchise where number 5 is the best one, but here we are. So we'll do our usual preamble of how we kind of hit at this thing, and then we'll start talking about it. But I saw, this was the first one I saw in LA. Like, I remember that being a big thing. Like, I had to go see this one when I moved to LA, and I was very excited to get a Fast and Furious movie. And I remember distinctly when this one started, my then girlfriend, now wife, leaned over and she went, "I hope they make these things forever." So she got her wish. So hooray!
So it's Chewie's fault, right?
Yeah, it's Chewie's fault. Yep, she did it.
Or, not fault, blessing, because
Yes.
the movies after 5 have been moderately good.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's Chewie's fault that The Rock's getting his own spin-off one as well.
We're not going to put that on her, man.
That was just the monkey paw part of the experience.
Magic has a
When
cost,
that-
man.
When that finger went down, the Rock finger went up with the big middle one.
But yeah, this was that movie that like we walked out of, and like the friend we went with got a speeding ticket on the way home. That was this one. Like, he got so amped up by this movie. It's like, this is an awesome movie. Like, it's hard to argue with. Like, this
Was
is
he
just
yelling
one of
some
those.
bitches out the window?
I hope so. You know, I didn't even realize that was The Rock's catchphrase until Fast X. Like, spoilers, he's in it. It's been spoiled everywhere. But he, like, they have a big push on his face, and he does a "some bitch," and I'm like, is that a catchphrase? And then we were watching this, I'm like, he says it all the time. I had no idea.
It's not son of a bitch. It's some
some
of
bitch.
bitches. Some bitches.
Oh my god. Either way, it's dumb. And but the movie that we saw here was great. That's how I hit it. Ryan, what about you?
I love this movie. This is the movie that when I watched, I was like, okay, let's see where the rest of this franchise goes to. And when you watch it, and even when you watch it as like a critic, like there's not a whole lot that you can pick apart in this movie. It is a standalone movie. It is a movie with a decent plot, a movie with a good villain. It is a story that flows. It is not some ridiculous movie that tries to do something gratuitous. This is a heist movie, you know, that doesn't start off as a heist movie. Well, I mean, it does, I guess, with the cars in the beginning, but it goes full-blown heist movie when they realize that they're in. And that's just kind of the life they live. So I was really impressed with this movie. And every rewatch, I like it better and better.
Would you say it's the life they chose?
You know, we're going to say that for the next movie, because I really like this song.
Gunshots in the dark, one eye closed. Anyhow, now Matt and Joel, this is your first experience with this one. Matt messaged us when he watched this. I believe we'll see how the rest of the series goes, but this one might have been the turning point for him to become a Fast and Furious fan. I'll let him say more.
They stole a vault with cars.
He's in.
I bought it. I was just like, I watched it going, this is ludicrous, but yeah, sure, why not? Sure. Even though in my head I'm like flashing back to that Mythbusters episode where it's like, well, no, the cable would have snapped.
Oh, for sure. So many times.
But they got that high tensile stuff from, Tej.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, adamantium. They melted down Wolverine. Turn it into cable.
But it's awesome.
But yeah, it's so good. Genuinely so good. I didn't have time to watch it a second time, but I went back and I watched that fucking vault theft again. Because my God, it's so good. Depending on how the rest of these films go, I'm going to probably, well, unless the rest of them are like god awful, I will probably buy the 4K box set when they're all done.
Mhm.
But if they're not, I definitely want to get this one on 4K alone. Annoyingly, I've had a quick look. You can get all of them apart from this one on 4K as separate releases. If you want 5, you got to buy the box set.
They know what the good one is.
Yeah.
We're gonna charge you a little bit extra.
A shrewd business choice. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Joel, what about you?
It's hard to deny that so far this is at least in the top 3 of the series. It is such a tight package of a movie. Like it's not a short movie, but I don't know where I trim any fat at. Like every piece of it is an enjoyable piece of the entire thing. I'm not well versed in heist movies, but I can't think of one where like it failed halfway through, the plan failed halfway through before they even launched the heist, and then they have to improvise and come up with sort of a new plan on the fly. And it is a departure from the other movies in that it seems like the racing part of it has taken a step back away from what it has been. And it's something that I didn't know that I liked too much, because they even tease out one race when they plan on stealing someone else's car, and then they, fast forward until they've already gotten the car off the guy. And it was like, well, that would have been a nice moment to see, maybe just to sort of put the roots back in the ground.
But we get the cop car race.
That is true. That is it's not without any, but the sort of street racing fun of it isn't there. Not to say that this movie isn't a lot of fun, but it's just something I observed here. And I was surprised at how well The Rock integrates himself into this movie as well. He's a very strong character. He's a lot different than sort of the public persona he gives people, which I think helps a lot. And boy, that goatee is something else.
Grows, shortens.
It's just weird. It's like evil Rock. It's kind of like Community when it was evil Abed and evil Troy. Very
it's
strange.
The Rock from the darkest timeline.
Yeah.
I mean,
now my question, Joel. Brian, did you watch the extended?
I've seen the extended. This time I didn't because I didn't have time. Granted, I know it's only like an extra 10 minutes, but I'm like, I need every minute I can. It's been a hell of a week. We'll leave it at that.
So like Joel, you missed like the board. Matt knows what I'm talking about. Like when there's a scene with Reyes, and he's sitting there talking to these other people about natives coming in, and it really does a lot to paint his character. But that part was cut out from the original theatrical cut. But like, I wish they would have kept that in, because it didn't feel like a blip at all or anything. It didn't feel like it was out of place, but that part was cut. I'm a firm, when I talk movies, like if the villain is good and everything kind of follows suit, if you have a strong villain, everything is good. Like if you have a believable villain, the movie will generally fall into place. And
Ant-Man Quantumanium would like a word, but continue.
Yes. Right. So, yes.
That movie's fine.
We look at like Die Hard as like the sort of like the benchmark of action films still to this day, because the villain is so good. The villain is so like Alan Rickman in Die Hard. If he doesn't brutally murder Mr. Takagi, you want him to win by the end of that film. And that's literally like, the perfect villain.
This is what I'm going to say. Like, yes, this scene does a little bit more to add to his character. Do you need it necessarily? No, because like when you first meet him and they're hung up, dude's still good. Dude is that first meeting is like, okay, we've established that this guy is not someone you mess around with. But when you see him in the boardroom, it's like, okay, he's very legitimate, even though he has tens of millions of dollars spread throughout the city through his underdealings. So, yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the villain in this movie. He's not my favorite villain in the franchise. Like the wrap up of this episode might be dangerously long because there's a lot of stuff we have to rank because there's a lot of very fun stuff. But if we had to do villains, he'd definitely be like near the top, but he's never gonna be number one. But he does a really good job being just a good foil for the good guys in this. I think my biggest problem with him, and like this is where like the only thing like critically that I could ever get into this thing does center around the villain of. I've always kind of been on the fence of why the gang is going after this guy. Like it does feel like, yes, he does bad things to them. They do bad things to him. It kind of feels like they started it. Like I could be wrong here, and I'd love to be proven wrong. But every time I've watched this, like they get hired to do a job. They were going to get betrayed on the job for sure, but then they kind of figured the way around it. But after that, they were pretty much done. They got away, and they're like, "Nah, we're gonna keep fucking with you." And they go to his house. They go to take his money. It's just kind of like it has a whole like they crossed him, and it could have been fine, but they're like, "Nah, fuck you." So like the rest of the movie is kind of their fault, but it's also a heist movie, so I'm okay with it. But there is kind of that weird like
they were going to kill Dom and Bryan. To me, that's them crossing the line exponentially more than not giving a car back because they knew they were killed anyway.
I think what the thing that it comes down to is it's not so much that they're just fucking with them. I think it's they look at it and say like, okay, this is $100 million. We can get that and disappear. If we take that from him, he can't come after us as well.
Oh,
like,
I guess that's true. Yeah,
you try and escape and get away with like someone who's got that much resources. They'll find you, especially if you've got nothing. But if you can take all of his resources and get away with like, $10 million a piece, you can disappear quite easily and, go to a non-extradition country
unless you gamble all of it on red or black.
And it lands on green because that's definitely where it landed.
Yeah. Those idiots.
But yeah, they weren't running away from a drug dealer. It was just Dom and Bryan who needed to get away, really.
I guess that's true. Yeah, no, I guess that's a good point. It's just for some reason that's always just kind of bumped me of like they're interjecting themselves in this situation, like through and through. I mean, I guess you could blame Vince because Vince is the one who gave them that contact. Like Vince really did fuck them over again. But it was nice seeing Vince again. Like I did like seeing Vince again. It was nice having him back. We never got the other guy who's like in charge of the street closures back. He never comes back, which is kind of a bummer. I guess we're still
Leon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember it's played by an actor called Johnny Strong, who was in Black Hawk Down, and he's been in a few other things. I think he's a really good actor. And
yes,
Johnny Strong's good.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I guess he's not part of the family anymore. So I don't know what he did wrong. But
I just think the actor's not interested.
I mean, that could be it. But like,
it comes down to.
Like most villains in this movie, if they survive, they end up getting invited to the barbecue at some point. And this guy, he lost his invitation. Kind of sucks to be him. But either way. So we were talking about the villain in this. The villain's really good, but for this movie, and that we kind of keep talking about it, this is a heist film. And without the obligation of the Rick and Morty, you son of a bitch, I'm in, it really does work well. But that sequence is very extremely you son of a bitch, I'm in. But I like it, like, because we do it again in the next movie, and the next movie they do it good there too. So it's like it works enough where it's kind of funny.
It's a staple of heist films. There's always that sort of like, it's like I think what they were probably playing on a little bit was Ocean's 11. Because Ocean's 11's definitely got that kind of
Italian
son of a bitch
bit.
And it's that sort of thing of going around and assembling the crew, and it's you have that in heist films. There's the whole thing of like you plan the heist, you assemble the crew, you execute the heist. There's always some sort of twist at the end. That's kind of like that's heist movies 101, really.
Yeah.
And the twist at the end with Fast and Furious, what they did is like, well, it's Fast and Furious. Obviously, they're going to have to use cars to get away with it. Because let's face it, when they're planning this heist, did anyone actually think that it was going to be a straight up regular heist? Like,
this was one of those movies I refused to watch the trailers for. Like, I was so excited for it. So I didn't
watch the trailer.
So I was expecting like a race through a police station with cars, because like that's what they are setting up. I'm like, this is going to be amazing. Like a really tight corners, going back to like Tokyo Drift-esque. Like, this is gonna be really cool. So I was very surprised we didn't get that.
Well, there are even there are shades of Tokyo Drift in that, like the whole practice scene.
Yeah.
Right. And that was sort of a nice touchback to that, because instead of having the novice, like these are all experienced, accomplished, top of the class in the world drivers, and they're even struggling to meet this window that they've created for themselves. So it's a cool turnaround, and the fact that they're all like round robining the whole thing too is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like seeing like which one of them can get it. Like you see that like little competition they have with each other, and it's like that character building and like that crew building is what it's, in my opinion, that stuff is what's made these movies last. Like you get
Family.
that family. Like it's a thing. But also on top of that, like what we were just saying with that, you son of a bitch, I'm in. You watch The Italian Job, you watch Ocean's 11, whatever, and they start doing that sequence. You don't have a fucking clue who these people are. Like it's like, oh, that's Brad Pitt, or oh, that's so and so. Like I know who the actor is because that's who they put in these, but I don't know who these characters are. Fast Five for me is such a better heist movie than most of these, because when we get to that sequence, we have 4 movies where we got to know all these people. So it's kind of like you're calling back your quote unquote family or friends, and it's like, oh, look who's back. Oh, this guy's here. Oh, the 2 guys in the first one, and it's like, it's fan service done right. Like this is exactly what you want to see, and it's like it gets you excited for this movie because you feel like you're part of that crew.
Yeah, it's fan service in service of the story, not just in service of fan service, essentially.
Yeah, they do the whole like we needed to bring a team together, and your first thought is, well, who are they going to bring together? They've only shown these people in the movie so far, and then just the quick snips of like, yes, I love Tyrese.
Yeah,
yeah, Lootens is going to be good too, and oh wait, we are Gal Gadot's here. You know, I didn't expect that, but they do a great job in the first movie of them being cooperative, but not really friends or friendly to each other. They're more or less all doing it as like a favor to Dom and Bryan, and the payday, obviously. But the way they all gel quickly over this movie, it feels organic, and that's something you can't always say for some of these movies.
No, I mean, a lot of times it feels like they put a bunch of celebrities in a room, and you know they're a bunch of celebrities, so they get along. They like, oh, we're looking these celebrities have fun, but like there is something special about the Fast and Furious movies, and it really does start here of like, oh, you get that they're actually friends. I mean, the exception of, you know, Vin Diesel and The Rock, but the rest of them are actually friends. Although I think they were friends when they made this one. They have a lot of scenes together. Like throughout the rest of the franchise, they were like never on camera together. It's like one's here, the other one's the other side of the room, blurry. Way to go, guys.
Or it's just a weird British guy who looks just like Vin Diesel.
Yeah, or that.
Are we talking about Rita Ora? Because that's the next movie.
No.
Sorry, Rita.
Rita Ora does not look like Vin Diesel.
I thought it was Iggy Azalea. That's what I was going for. We're going ahead.
Isn't Rita Ora? Isn't that Taika Waititi's wife now, or partner, or
wife, girlfriend, something like that? Yeah,
they're a thing, right?
Yeah,
I thought so. So sorry, Taika, as well. Rita and Taika, we're sorry. She doesn't look like Vin Diesel. Ryan is wrong.
I wasn't going that route. I was just saying I thought she looked like somebody else.
Just want to throw out there that Ryan said she looked like Vin Diesel, and we disagree with Ryan.
In so many words. All right, I may have hopped in at the wrong moment.
All right, so if we're building the crew, is there anybody we need to talk about specifically in this we haven't seen in a minute that was really nice to see again? Like, how do you guys feel like after we built the crew?
Why are we not talked about the initial car chase?
Like, I want to talk about the crew first, because the all the action stuff kind of goes into one lump for me.
Okay. I mean, I think the way that they did the introductions was very, I don't even want, like, fluid. Like, this is a movie that is actually very well scripted. It does not seem like it is too, like, there is fan service 100%, but just the character introductions is true to the characters, you know. And even like, you know, you've got oh man, what are the two guys' names? Shit. That's not his name, but those two guys, the guys that were only in the beginning of the fourth one when they were
Tego and Rico.
Yeah, I think that's yes. Those guys are hilarious when they're talking about him burning chicken later. I mean, it's so good, but you know, they're sitting there and you talk about a gun expert and you don't know who it is. They're just riding on a motorcycle. You have no idea it's Gal Gadot until she takes the helmet off and then pulls a gun on Tyrese. I mean, like, everything, it's not done to be like, oh, let's bring all these people together. It's done with purpose. And I think that it works out, whether it's the chameleon, with Tyrese, everything was just very,
The big mouth.
yeah. The circuit man, like you are establishing who these people are in this movie, and it's done in a perfect way that it works for all the others. That's where I'm
going. It's like, we need this type of person.
Yep.
Oh, well, we've got this. And then it's like, I like the way that they did it, because it's like, it's very cliche now of like, listing out the type of person it is, and then you cut to the introduction of the person, and it's like, and it's done in that way, because like so many things have done that now.
Mm-hmm.
But it still really works well here, I think, because it's like you said, it's characters that we've already seen. It's like none of these characters are like, I didn't know that they were in this film, because I forgot, because they've been in them before.
Yeah. The chameleon was Han, and that makes more sense than Tyrese.
Yeah. Tyrese shines bright like a diamond, if you will.
Are you serious right now? Are you serious? That's his catchphrase.
It's so. He has like the best trailer line in this thing. Like I've watched the trailer now since, but like every time I get to that, this has gone from Mission Impossible to Mission freaking Insanity. It's like
he's got so many good one-liners.
It's so, and he delivers them so well. Like I really enjoy Tyrese in the Fast and Furious movies. Like
he understands his role.
He really does.
I think I enjoy Tyrese in a lot of these kind of films. Not like Fast and Furious. He was great in the Transformers films when he shows up as well, because he's just there to kind of, be like,
he's
give one lines.
Raise it up a little
good
bit.
at it. Yeah, he's great in these kind of roles. I've not really seen him in much else other than these kind of roles, to be fair, but he does them well.
Yeah, he does.
Part of what works so well with him here is that he's got people to play off of him to be the like, you're being ridiculous. Or hysteric kind of situation. And Tej, is his common foil to that, but all of them have their moments where they just give him the incredulous look or snap back with showing him how foolish he's being.
Oh yeah, and he's so good. Like he's got such good comedic timing that he plays off of everyone well. Like Gal Gadot she's great. Don't get me wrong. Like I love Gal Gadot. I love her as Wonder Woman. I would never consider her a funny person. And I don't mean that in like a negative way. I'm sure if I met her, she could make me laugh. But like, I don't think of Gal Gadot when I think of comedy. And even him playing off of her can make those scenes funny. Like he just has such good chemistry. He just kind of brings everyone up a little bit. And it's really nice to see here. And that continues throughout the rest of the franchise. Him and The Rock, their chemistry is hysterical. They have some of the best lines in the next movie. It's great. But honestly,
I think it's like you said, the chemistry works really well because of like the comedic elements work really well. Sorry, because he's got that great chemistry with all these people that he's playing off of. So the comedic timing works even better because that chemistry's there. And I think the writers or directors or whoever noticed that he's got the best chemistry with Ludacris, with Tej, because they play off of each other so good, like so well throughout this film, and then even more so throughout the next one. It's like I love seeing those two together.
And honestly, Tyrese and Han, like they play off each other really well. Like because the scene, I think it's probably the next one with them both eating. It's just like they just know what to throw in there. Like these two guys just like they know what they have a very similar quirk where they're both just shoving things in their mouth all the time, and they make it funny. Like I've become more and more of a Tyrese fan every time I watch these movies. Like he's good. But when we're talking Fast and Furious movies, we probably should start talking about some of the action and the car shit and this stuff. Because we've been talking for a while, and like as much of the characters are great and the movie's great, it's not that complex of a movie. Before we jump into that, though, we did kind of leave out a very major character.
Fuck The Rock.
We talked a little bit about The Rock, but we didn't talk about Elsa Pataki at all.
I was just gonna say that. She's great. I like her.
We need to talk Elsa Pataki because she's a major character in the Fast and Furious franchise. I won't go too much into. I mean, we all know they end up together at the end of this movie, and they don't at the end of next movie.
They
do. Vin Diesel and her chemistry is about as not good as Therese with everybody else. Like,
that would be the
weird.
That scene in the room where they're talking about dead people. I was like, this This is
Shame
awkward.
stands.
This is
Just
this is
lost
not
family.
good.
It just doesn't work at all. And it's like, I really like Elsa Pataki. I think she's a very good actress. I've never thought she was a great actress. Like I saw her solo action film, Interceptor, I think it's called. She does fine. Like it's fun. But I thought she was a good person for this role. I think she plays off The Rock really, really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like she fits into this thing. She has that look of like, oh yeah, she's an incredibly attractive, but you also like she doesn't feel like a supermodel. She probably is a supermodel in real life, but she can dress down enough where she feels like she's just an attractive woman who's doing a job. Like it doesn't detract from the role. It's not like they plucked in Rita Ora and put her in this.
That's the next movie.
Yeah.
It's also not, they're not shoot her character like she's just an attractive woman as well.
Yeah.
She's shot as if, you know, she is just a cop.
Yeah.
You know, there's none of the like gratuitous shots of her ass or something like that, which, you know, if Michael Bay was directing it, I'm sure we'd have a close up of their ass so much that you'd be able to see what she ate for lunch or something.
Did you see the introduction of Ludacris?
God
Butt cheeks everywhere. Butt cheeks everywhere.
But it is something the Fast and Furious franchise has done well, and I still don't think they get enough credit for it. Like they don't just pigeonhole women into being the hot chick roles. Like they let them be the action stars they should be allowed to be, because they are just people. Let them be people.
Yeah, they
Fucking
got a
action
clear
movies?
division. They got a clear division between main character and then the eye candy segments.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so all the main characters have their own personalities. They have agency. They are equals to their men counterparts within the group, and that balance really works well for her. Because your point, like she seems like a police officer.
Yeah.
Trying to do the right thing within the confines of what the law dictates she has to do. And juxtaposed against The Rock, who is all the like the means justify the ends. I will get my person. I don't care if they're technically innocent. The paper says that they broke the law and I'm bringing them in. So she's kind of the heart between that sort of plays off of his character. And that's why it works well when she sort of starts defecting a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's
And-
what I was sorry,
Go ahead.
Brian. I was just gonna say, like, you know, this is a character where we see her and we already understand that she is justifiably good. She is inherently good, because Rock's introduction, oh, you know, I need a translator. I look at you and you are new to the force. You know, you're not dirty. And so, like, to me, that really sets up her character, but it also sets up our situation, because we know that the police are dirty, and that's going to come into effect a lot later. So that was very brilliant writing, very well hinted at, and I just thought that the way they introduce these character lends a lot to the story.
Yeah, and then the Rock vouching for her, it almost brings up her character a lot more, because you have the Rock, who's this just fucking brick shithouse who's literally murdering anyone in his way to get to his guy. Like, I've never seen a person with a license to kill use it so willingly.
Not even James Bond.
I didn't. I mean, like that hand cannon he's carried. That ain't standard issue.
Good
In any
lord.
police department or government agency or anything. Even Dirty Harry would look at that and go, "It's a bit much." You know?
But that's the point. So you have this guy who's just this unbelievably horrifying force of the law, and he's like, she's good. And it's like suddenly it just takes this like tiny little cop next to the Rock, and now she is an intimidating force. And like he leaves her on her own in these huge gun sequences because she's got it. And it's like instantly like a more validating character, because if the Terminator is saying she's good, I'm going to trust that she is now the badass that we're being told she is. And then she steps up to it every time. Like it's a really well done thing. And I think Elsa Pataki really stepped into the role and did a great job with it. I wish she had more to do throughout the rest of the franchise, because her character is really important, but I do love her in this movie.
Yeah.
And
I think it's quite funny. Like you look at the Hobbs character, as well, and that's sort of like, you know, he's this hunter and everything like that. But like even he's got these weird superpowers. As like, you know, he makes all of his men rebuild that car, and they're like, no, there's nothing missing. And then he goes and pushes a few buttons and goes, yeah, the GPS tracking chip's missing. Why did you make him rebuild the fucking car? Why don't you check that first?
he's thorough. Like I actually kind of liked that. Like it was like the look on his mechanic's face. All right, put this back together. that's gonna take a while.
Better get to work.
I do love that bit though. It's like where you see him looking around, going, "That's gonna take a while," and then they do it, and he's like, "Yeah, there's nothing missing," and then it's like immediately just pushes a few buttons, like, "Yeah, GPS is not missing."
And he's like, "I just built a car. Cut me some slack. I didn't check inside the disk drive. I'm sorry."
I would have loved there to have been a line after that, and the guy just like throws down and goes, "Well, that was a waste of fucking time."
I think it'd been great if there's somebody that said, "I told you to check that, motherfucker." But I like The Rock in this movie a whole bunch. Like, he is just a really fun side villain. Like, it's just this weird sort of like, they kind of flirt with this idea again back in 7, where it's like, here's like a bad guy, but here's this guy on the side who's also just a constant thorn in the side. And they use The Rock really well for that. To like, if this was just a heist movie where they're just going after, is it Reyes? Am I getting a different?
Reyes.
So if they're just going after Reyes, it's a pretty cut and dry by the numbers heist movie. But by throwing The Rock in there as this constant like foil to their plans, the whole reason their plan doesn't work is because The Rock finds out where they are and shows up and ruins it. Like, it gives him this extra like additive funness to it that like I really enjoy it.
He's Nemesis from Resident Evil.
He's Nemesis from Resident Evil. Yes, he is. Instead of stars, it's cars.
Resident Evil Apocalypse, a film that definitely sexualized the police officer woman character.
The tube top and mini skirt. Oh god, that was exact opposite of the praise I'm giving here.
Thanks, Jill Valentine.
But beyond that, like, this was like one of those weird things, and I promise we're gonna the action next. When The Rock was introduced to this thing, and then they took away, as Joel mentioned way earlier in this episode, they took away the street racing. You can really tell this was like a studio push of like, we have a somewhat successful franchise. 4 just proved there's a little bit more gas in the tank. But we need to. It did well in the box office, Ryan. If you didn't like the movie,
to everyone who's only able to hear this audio medium, Ryan just shook his head when Brian said that it did very well.
But it did enough to like, oh, there's enough here that we can get people excited for this. So they do this very big gear shift of like, we're gonna make it a heist movie, and let's spin our random celebrity dial. The Rock is gonna be in it, and it felt very calculated. And then when you watch it, it's like, oh, this shit works. But would it work without the action? I don't think so. And luckily with Justin Lin here, and they had really good plans for each and every action sequence, this movie fucking works. Like, right from the get-go with the train heist, like, if you're not in, like, I don't know, like, you can turn off the movie. If you're watching them fly off that cliff and you're not at least, like, smiling and laughing, it's like, okay, this wasn't the movie for you, because holy shit, that sequence is awesome.
So do we think that the film would have worked with the original idea for Hobbs, which was Tommy Lee Jones?
I've heard a couple people for Hobbs. Tommy Lee Jones would have been an old guy and would not. No, definitely would not have worked. There was somebody else.
But I like the idea though, because like Tommy Lee Jones, like one of his most famous roles is in The Fugitive, where he's chasing a fugitive, and it'd been like a bit of a callback to that. It would have been different. I think he would have been a bit more of a backseat thing, and his team would have probably done more of it. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, you know, the idea of like, oh, you went from Tommy Lee Jones to The Rock. That's a really big difference. Like, you know, how much of the script got changed to accommodate that?
Oh, it's like Josh Brolin was the other guy.
Josh Brolin would have worked.
I think it would have been treading the same line a little too much from the first couple of Fast and Furious, where it's like you are part of the police force, but you're more kind of just like the puppet master behind the scenes telling others what to do. The physicality and the first foot forwardness of The Rock, I think, helped keep this a little more fresh rather than if they had tread the same line again.
And I mean, we haven't really mentioned it, but like The Rock actually acts in this movie. So like that.
Yeah.
You don't really get that. He doesn't do it anymore. Anymore, it's just The Rock in the movies. This is Hobbs, at least in 5. That is Hobbs. It's not The Rock.
Stay the fuck out of my way.
Joel hasn't seen that.
That's
Well, that's on Joel. I watched the extended version.
You know what? You need the stupid layman's opinion on this podcast too.
But back to the action sequences. So Ryan, you wanted to talk train stuff. You even mentioned it earlier.
That train's
Which one did? Oh, you want to talk about the very opening of the bus crash?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, not the bus crash. Hey, you can have that. I'm talking about the train heist with the cars, with the DEA cars. Like that was awesome.
That's what I said. Train stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to talk about the stupid bus. That's stupid.
The bus crash. I like to pretend doesn't happen in this movie. That happened in 4. When we talk about 4, it happens in 5. When we talk about 5, it happened in 4.
No, but like everything, and what's great though is Vin Diesel, we see him roll up in his, muscle car, but then you actually get to see him. I thought that was great. As cheesy as that was, it was perfect for this movie. He's there when he needs to be there at a heist. And, Vince, it makes sense that Vince kind of set this up with, the bad guys who work for Reyes, but, they're just looking for a crew that they can off. So everything just, again, I talk about the writing. When you have a movie that is the 5th in a franchise, sometimes they dial it in and they just go over things. That's what they did for 4. Sorry, Brian. But 5 is actually...
I've come around to your opinion. Just it's much lower on my list.
5 is very well written, and everything about, even Brian says, I had to make a call. They were out on money, and they had to do something because Dom wasn't there. I think everything about this train scene was very warranted. Having Brian there to understand that it's DEA tags, it just sets forward in motion everything else that we're about to see in this movie. I loved it. I thought it was a great action sequence, high stakes. It was great.
It also does a really good job of setting up the idea that they need some sort of income. They need a big score to disappear, because at the moment they've got nothing, and they're really, they need something to get away to disappear, so they don't have to be looking over their shoulder all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And like, this movie's really one of the last ones that does it, but like they really let Mia get in the mix, and I like it when she shows up in this stuff. Like she's on comms at the end of this movie, and she's actually part of the heist here. Like I like it when Jordana Brewster is involved, because it feels more like the original Fast and Furious to me just a little bit. So I like having her in this heist, and I like that she's the one who steals the car. Like that moment of, as soon as she gets in, they see how this is the car that they wanted.
Yep.
And just that very smart call, like, wait for my call. Get the hell out of here. Like, it's a really fun scene.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they let her be the one to do it.
Even her smart assness is great. This car's more my speed anyway. Like,
yeah.
I was like, sold.
But then that entire sequence is like, holy shit, is that just a good action sequence? And like,
oh yeah.
And when I'm watching it, and I don't mean to get too spoilery for Matt and Joel, but like, there is definitely something lost after Paul Walker dies, and it's very, very
Paul
sad.
Walker dies?
No, the character is still alive, but the actor.
Paul Walker?
Yeah.
Paul Walker's died?
What am I not saying?
I didn't
Too
know
soon.
he was dead.
It's too soon.
What did I miss? I'm literally confused.
He's being sarcastic.
Okay. I'm like, wait, hold on.
I'm
So
pretending that I didn't know that Paul Walker, the actor,
I've
has
had
died.
this much coffee today. You
that
gotta
he's
bear
lived
with
under
me.
a rock for the past 10 years.
Right, so I can lift this out of the podcast. Thanks. Anyhow, so there's something that's a little bit lost after Paul Walker died, and it's really kind of depressing in a way, of like Vin Diesel and Paul Walker had such good chemistry that when you get to 8 and he's not there definitely seems to be something just not working as well. And I noticed in this movie, what I really want in Paul Walker in these movies is I want Paul Walker being thrown out of a vehicle, dangling by one limb and just hoping for the best. And he does that quite a bit in these movies. And it's just kind of fun having that side of the action sequence. So you have Vin Diesel inside the train being all muscle, punchy, and then you cut to Paul Walker who's dangling off the side of a truck, trying to get into a truck, somebody with a blowtorch at his face, and he's just like, ah! And he just has this constant fly by the seat of his pants, hoping for the best. And somehow it works out for him every time. But there is something about his physicality in those things that I think is like, it's really fun to watch. And I don't think they've really found someone to fill that role since he hasn't been in these movies. But it is really, really good in this one.
I had been wondering about that because, to your point, their chemistry is really at the core of what's made these movies work so far. That's why Too Fast, Too Furious felt a little weird, even though Tyrese did a great job as Roman to sort of try to fill and create a new dynamic. And I can see why there's a point where it's like, after Paul Walker's death, can this move on? Like, can it go on with that? And clearly it can in some fashion, but I'm interested to see what happens when I actually get to sit down and see that myself.
Yeah,
and we're not that less of like, can it go on, or it's more of the question of should it have gone on? Really,
I think by the time you get to 9, you might be like, okay, I can see why these stuck around. But 8 is definitely a bit of a bump in the road of them learning how to be without Paul Walker's character. But for me, like, this is like the first time where I could really kind of put my finger on why I like having him in these movies so much, and it is just that other side of the action sequence, that really limber, nimble dude it's like the Legolas to like having Gimli. Like, it's having that sort of the other side of the action sequence, and Paul Walker fit that role really well, and he does throughout the rest of this movie too. Like, having him show up in like even in like the end heist, like with the whole thing, having the two of them drive that car made it way more fun with the safe. Thank you. I'm getting 6 in my head. With the safe behind them is more fun with the two of them driving it around than just the one. Like, it just worked really, really well.
And it's like the way that it's they sort of like work together on it with the two of them dragging it as well. It makes it more exciting. Like, I want to actually talk about the vault thing. A little bit later, but there's one other action sequence I want to talk about first, and it's the foot chase through the shanty town.
Subway's in 6.
That's 6.
That's next week.
I'm pulling you.
5 is the one in Rio.
Yes.
6 is the one in London.
Look at Matt defending Fast and Furious like a fan.
We need a map.
No, I love that whole chase sequence through this through the shantytown thing.
So good.
The shacks. It's like, I remember playing Modern Warfare 2 and being like, oh, they need to do this in a film. Like, you know, the favela chase. And it's like, I'm trying to remember, did that come out before Fast 5 or did that come out after Fast 5? And it's like, I don't know, but they fucking have that. They have that sort of chase sequence through the favela. It's awesome. And it's just like, you know, because it's this 3-way chase as well, which is not done very often in films because it's very difficult to do well. And they did it really well here.
Yeah.
Because you've got, like, you know, Vin Diesel and his crew are being chased by Reyes' people, and then The Rock is chasing Vin Diesel's crew as well, but then getting into fights with Reyes' people, and it's fucking awesome.
It's chaos, but you know what's going on.
Yes.
Which is really, really hard to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, that's the thing. It's like, oh, like, you have directors where they're like, oh, I want it to be really chaotic and people feel like they're in the moment. It's like, yeah, you can do chaotic and make you feel in the moment, but if I don't know what the fuck's going on, I'm just going, what's going on? Yeah. Whereas with this, it's like, it's chaotic. I don't necessarily feel like I'm in it, but I know what the hell's going on, and that's better, I think.
Yeah. And there's like just the little moments in it that work so well. Like, they're running and Vin Diesel jumps off the building, and then that shot of him midair trying to turn around, like, what the fuck was that sound?
Just the look on his face, like, I'm not acting.
And just that amp up of like, oh who the fuck is chasing me now? It looks like,
is that a rhino?
And it's just that great moment of like, oh, the stakes have changed. But yeah, that entire sequence is great. And like, they do a good job setting up just by, they don't really talk at all in that sequence, but like, oh, we have a new foil now. Like, it's a really good oh shit moment. And it makes that scene later with probably the dumbest line in the movie that might be my quote of "This is Brazil." But like that showdown later, like where they finally get to talk and like, you're not gonna arrest me here. We're good. Like that scene between the two of them that much better after that chase sequence of like, oh, I know you are more than capable of bringing me down, but I'm going to fight. And it's great. I love the showdown between Hobbs and Toretto, and it's very sad those actors hate each other so much because they did really well together.
And then there's the actual fight between them as well later on.
So ridiculous.
It's literally like a wrestling match. It's like WWE wrestling.
I could be wrong, but I believe that's the fight that started punch counting. And if you don't know what punch counting is, that is a thing that the Fast and the Furious franchise started, where the celebrities don't like being punched more than their co-stars. So somebody has to sit in the edit and count how many times they're punched to make sure that it's equal punched.
Oh my God.
That is a Fast and Furious
Really?
problem. Yep.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Do you know what these actors need? To lose the fucking egos. Right? Hey, you punched me 21 times. I only punched you 20. I need to punch you one more time.
It might not be that sequence, but it definitely came from Fast and Furious. And now it's they no longer do punch counting. Now it's equal damage. So you can damage each other the same amount. So even if you punch each other really, really hard, if you get punched really hard one time, but somebody punches you like medium hard twice, that counts. This is all because of the Fast and Furious diva actors.
Do you know what I would love them to do? I'd love them to do, like, literally, they both get hit in the exact same spot at the same time, and it's literally just like two people fighting the exact same moves, and they both look identical after the fight.
Oh, you're going to have a real fun time watching Dominic fight Jason Statham. Because that gets almost there. But it's fun.
My eye. Fuck you.
I really like the Statham fights. You're gonna enjoy it, but yeah. But I like the fist fight with The Rock at that sequence because it definitely like it feels like the oh shit we just lost moment, and like it is that really good like we're fucked. Like he's fighting because he's mad because he just lost the heist, and because he's getting his ass kicked by The Rock. And eventually he comes out on top because it's Vin Diesel's movie and he's not going to allow it to happen any other way. Fine, whatever.
Even though The Rock literally looks twice the size of him.
If you can honestly tell me that Vin Diesel doesn't have a constant Apple Box guy near him just for like, oh, Vin Diesel's in the shot, like, you're going to bring him up, pig. Like, I just don't believe you.
I mean, I think they've just done away with the Apple Box at this point. They just got like a harness that like some guys hold, like hoisting him up and they're just moving him around by cable.
When you said harness, I immediately assumed like Baby Bjorn. So just imagine like some really big guy with The Rock on his chest or Vin Diesel on his chest. Like, all right, just gonna stand here, do your lines.
Or he's got those stupid like stilt things that he wore when he was doing Groot.
Yes, yeah. All of that I would believe more than The Rock and Vin Diesel are even similar heights.
That's why he insisted on being on set in Guardians and why he had to train to use those things. He was just getting ready for the next Fast and Furious.
I'm as tall as a tree, damn it. No, you're not, Vin. It's okay. It's okay.
It's like Tom Cruise trying to pretend that he's like, you know, I can play Jack Reacher, this 6'5" character.
No,
sure you can, Tom.
I feel like he's gotten better about. I feel like Edge of Tomorrow really, really settled the fact that he's short. But well, that's a Tom Cruise podcast for a later date. Let's talk the bank heist because we've been talking for a while.
No.
Oh my God! What else do you want to? What?
Ambush.
I guess that is a really good shootout.
That is a good shootout.
It's a really good shootout.
Yeah, that is a good shootout as well.
Very
actually.
well crafted, very well choreographed, and it just it shows that The Rock is vulnerable. And he might need Vin Diesel, maybe see that Vin Diesel is not a criminal. He is, but like he's got this side that he will stand up for what's right and be there for people when people are just getting mercilessly slaughtered, like The Rock's team, just completely destroyed. I mean, some dude's laying halfway out of a car and sees a grenade, and just the look on his face is like, "Yep, I'm gonna die."
It introduces Hobbs personally the idea of morally gray lines,
right?
Yeah.
He's lived his life to black and white, it took a personal experience of somebody coming to his rescue that he was coming after to realize that maybe things aren't a straight dividing line.
Yes, which leads to his development for later actions in the film, in the next film.
Yeah, and just the shot of all like the crew getting out of like that armored car with their guns and like actually saving the Rock, and like you can almost see disappointment on the Rock's face of like, these guys, fuck.
Well,
But
go ahead.
Yeah, but it does have that like that great moment of like, well, I guess I'm working with them now. And like I love the way they hide that he's in the room while they're discussing still stealing from Reyes. Like this,
Yeah.
they have the whole talk. Like you see that Els Pataki's there, like that's great. But then like everyone's like not doing it. Then it's The Rock. I'm in. Like he's in the room.
Well, they're down.
He is the room.
They're down a man because Vince gets shot, and little Nico, you find out that Dominic or Vince named his kid Dominic. So I think that that shows that family is vulnerable. Family is vulnerable as we move on, and so they're down a man. So that's why they're freaking out. Like, I'm going home. Like, enough. This is mission in freaking sane. And The Rock's like, I'm in.
It's just, and then we don't get to see them come up with Plan B. We just see Plan B happen, and Plan B is so fucking glorious. It is elevated the entire franchise into the stratosphere. Like,
oh yeah, because we haven't even talked about that big bulking vehicle that The Rock has.
He has
which
it
is then
all just for the end of the movie. He's driving around
Yeah.
the whole movie just for like, we had to have a vehicle that could drive through a wall believably. So, but that's it. That's the one.
It's like a tank with tires.
Yeah. But like, that sequence, I've never met someone who's seen this movie and said, that was fine. The bank sequence was okay. Like everyone is like, no, the vault going through Rio is one of the greatest action sequences put to film. Like it's just so, and every moment of it is so great. From the moment of like, they're stealing the vault. There's the vault? Like, like, and just the second they get out of there, like they drive the cars in, they get out with their big tension cables, they hook the vault. It's like, you clue into what they're doing pretty quick. And it's like, wait, what's happening? And as soon as they pull out, the thing's just sliding behind them and hits the first like thing of cards, like, oh shit. This is gonna be insane. And then the entire sequence is that. It's just a wrecking ball going through Rio, and it's just some of the most glorious stuff I've ever seen.
It's like when they're on the radio, it's just like, don't go left. No, that's not going to work. We're going to have to go right. And then it's like the vault goes through the bank. And then you've got that brilliant like cut to Jordan and Brewster going, guys, I'm just hearing on the radio. Did you just take out a bank? And you got the music in that sequence. Like, the score in that sequence is so good. Like, if you need anything to get you amped up or pumped up, that track on the soundtrack is perfect. I listened to that whilst doing a run. Like twice, and I ran straight for 20 minutes solid. I'm training for a 5K just listening to that music.
It's a really like we talk about the music a lot in this podcast, which is great, but Fast and Furious is not where I really go to for good scores, and then this movie really stepped it up. It's just fantastic. Like there isn't a thing. I watched that sequence and I'm like, oh, perfect, no notes. And I even mean it all the way down to the end of like, we're on the Rio Bridge, which is a very, very long bridge. It's a real bridge. And they're like, we're dragging a fucking vault behind us. They are going to catch us. Like, this thing's heavy as shit. And just that moment with the two things of like, we're letting you go. What, Dom? No. And it's like, this was always the plan.
This was plan G.
Somehow, the vault that needed 2 cars to be able to drag it through Rio now goes just fine with 1 car.
No, because they actually extend that away. He's got NOS. He's got like 15 things of NOS that he fires, and it gives him enough go to A, do a wheelie with the car again, and B, drag the safe on his own, and then fucking, I don't know how he timed that, but like basically swing it round. I mean, I'm just ignoring all the other cars that he smashed the shit out at this point, but swing it round, take out that one car that was using a minigun, jump out of his own car, and then send his car into the other car. I mean, I'm sorry, Dominic Toretto is a mathematical genius.
Oh,
like, these like sort of
he aced
these
his
angles
physics class.
and
he just got it. I love having seen Fast 10, knowing what else is going on in this scene. Apparently, if you guys didn't know this, Momoa is in this entire action sequence. You just didn't see him yet, but he's there.
Don't remember seeing Jason Momoa.
Right?
Yeah, he's in the car with the minigun. When that goes over, Momoa's in that car, and then he's just floating in the water while the Fast 10 credits are going over his face.
Wait, so he survived? You know what?
You can't
I know
question what people survive in Fast and Furious movies. They survive everything.
I just remembering what happened in the next film. I'm like, what Vin Diesel survived. And I was just about to question that he survived a safe smashing into his car.
If Vin Diesel,
what looks like it flattens him.
Oh yeah, no, he's fine. He's totally fine. He's just floating around. You'll see him. He's quite honestly one of the best villains, if not the best villains in the Fast and Furious franchise. So get excited for Momoa. He is great.
Well, he is.
Yeah,
Jason Momoa.
Well, he's the Joker in this, and I mean that through and through, and it's fantastic. He makes Fast X a good movie. We'll get to there when we get to there. Me and Matt have been talking the majority of the bank heist in the vault. Ryan, Joel, what do you have to say about it?
I mean, there's really not much to say. It's
Yeah,
This was entertaining. It's a great culmination of everything that we see. It shows Bryan and Vin Diesel showing up. I do like how, Joel kind of alluded to the whole gray line of Hobbs, and just to have him get out of his car, pull out his cannon, and just blow Reyes away. I thought that was
my genius, son of a bitch.
Yep.
You
I
some
thought
bitch.
I just some bitch. So I just, it's really well done. It's shot very well, and the reveal at the end is also very good. For those of you that don't, when you're watching it a second time, they play it off so good. You have a 10-second window, then you just see him taking a curve with a vehicle in the background. You don't really pay attention to it until you see the cop brain of Hobbs sitting there piecing it all together and realizing, this is what they did. So
and you go back and rewatch it, you see the truck that they unloaded it in coming out from under the bridge.
Yep.
And it's still got the
cloth
blanket thing attached to the front of it. Like you see that the second time around, you're like, oh
yeah.
So, like again, and this just goes to show, really well written story. Really well. Wow, why can I not talk today?
I'm doing the same
really
thing,
well
man.
written script, really well written heist film. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
That post chase end sequence of Hobbs telling Dom, you did 24 hours and then I'm coming after you and I'm gonna find you. Them driving away, him realizing what happens, and just like the smile on his face is like, oh, I've been got.
Yeah.
I can't even be mad.
There's that great line.
Yeah.
it's like, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah, that does just have that, like, it's hard not to smile while watching that reveal. It's like, they did get him. It's just it's nice. And then you have the standard ending of like all the guys getting their money. You see the two guys from the opening of 4 just blow it all in the worst gamble ever, which we talked about earlier.
I like the Han and Giselle stuff. Like, we haven't really talked about Han or Giselle that much in this film. I like their chemistry. I think they work really well together, and I like that they end up together. And there's the thing where it's like, so we'll go to Tokyo eventually, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's like, we know how Tokyo ends up for you, Han.
Yeah. And then the problem is, you're sitting here in the theater in 2011 going, she's not in Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's like, Giselle, writing's on the wall for you.
I think part of what's so easy to overlook them is their characters are both understated. Like they're the much quieter characters of the crew, and they get sort of overshadowed by all the big names. Then you have that time where they're trying to get the handprint from
it's
them.
such a good moment now where she's like, never send a man to do a woman's job. And it's so good because it's like, you see and it's so gratuitous, but it's gratuitous in a way that serves the story. Where she's like in that thing, and like you see the hand on her ass, and it's like, well, that's how you get the handprint, and then like,
And then
she
you
just
go,
goes over and
can
just
you get
hands the
fingerprints off
bikini
cloth?
bottoms.
You're right.
You can get fingerprints off anything.
I feel like that's
Sure.
a weird thing to get hung up about in terms of realness. For
Sure, yeah, I'll
series.
give you that.
And
And
if
it
you want to
did-
get hung up on something, that cable would have snapped. Wouldn't even pulled the vault out of the wall.
But I love the movie just going like, guys, Gal Gadot can get into anywhere she wants if she's wearing a bikini, and everyone just goes, yeah,
Yep.
I buy that. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Gal
one-
Gadot doesn't even have to be.
If I
wearing
have
the
a vault
bikini
with
to get
hundreds
it.
of millions of dollars, I will definitely do what needs to be done and
Yeah.
to give her access.
Yeah, okay, sure. You want to see the vault?
Right
Sure,
here?
yeah.
Right,
Buy
right
yourself.
here.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll
I guess.
show her it. I'll chop off my hand and give it to her.
Do I need like full? Like, do you need every print, even the middle? Like, how does this work? Like, do I need to press firmly or? I'm sorry, I'm
sequence.
gonna go away now.
But yeah,
I'm like, can you take fingerprints off of boobs?
I mean, one way to find out. And anyhow, but I agree, Matt. We didn't really talk about Han and Giselle, which is kind of a bummer because if you were part of the fandom when these movies were coming out, there was a big like people were shipping Han and Giselle. Like people really got into their relationship and they legit enjoyed it. She was very upset when this was happening because she's like, I like Giselle, and she's not in Tokyo Drift. And I'm pretty sure she just got cast as Wonder Woman. This isn't looking good for her.
I'm gonna say this. I'm okay with not talking about them so much in this one as we need to in the next film.
Yes.
Because their relationship dynamics really take off in that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's a
This
great
is- what's
segue
good
for
about
us
this
to end this
one-
episode, I think.
Yes.
Well, I was just gonna say this. What's really good about
Matt,
this one is
we
you
are
see the beginning.
segueing.
No,
I'm sorry,
not
Matt.
finished. Damn it!
Go ahead, buddy.
I was just saying.
All
Like,
right,
you
so
know-
quotes.
you bastard! I knew it. Every time, I know it's coming, and I still fall for it.
I'm just sitting here like, he's going to say something.
The best part is now I'm doing it too.
It's spreading like a virus.
All right, go ahead, Matt. I'll be...
Fuck you.
I'm turning off my mic.
Yeah, I'll mute it. I'll take another bite of my donut. You can say something.
Fuck you and fuck all you. No. Nope.
In lieu of that, I love the Christ Redeemer shots every like 20 minutes. They love that helicopter shot of like going across the statue into the broader Rio de Janeiro landscape. I found that very funny.
Yeah, it's a nice call out of this is where we're at. I was totally just going to let that sit for 30 seconds of Matt going, no, I'm not going to do it. No. So Joel saved us there. All right, let's actually move into quotes on this thing. I just saw my quote and I'm very excited for mine. I'm gonna go with mine because I'd forgotten that I even wrote one down because I was so sure I was going to use a different one. Mine comes at the very, very end of the movie. They've won. They're on their beach. Brian's with Mia. Dom, for some reason, is with the cop from Rio. For some reason, she threw out her whole career to go with him. Whatever.
Well, he's got a lot of money.
He does have a lot of money, but she was the tried and true cop. She was the one who didn't need to be crooked. She's gonna quit it. Whatever. I get it. It works. But Brian really still wants to race Dom. And in this movie, when they do the cop car chase, Dom takes his foot off the gas to let Brian win because Mia's pregnant. And he's just like, he's so annoyed about it, but he's like, but I also won. So at the end, they're going to finally, he's like, I want to do one race. He's like, you sure about this? He's like, yeah, I want one race. He's like, don't cheat this time. And Dom's line of this, gotta let that go. It's just, I love that chemistry between the two of them. And just because it calls back to like that one, is it part 4, where it's like you would have beat me if I didn't cheat. You hit your head pretty hard.
Yeah.
It just kind of calls back to that in a really fun way. So I love it. If I had a moment, it's just the entire vault chase. I didn't think I needed to say that. That's the best.
Yeah,
moment.
I'm pretty sure everyone's moment is the same from this one, to be fair.
So The ball chase is amazing. We've already said that. So that's me. Joel, why don't you go?
So you sort of mentioned half of it already. The race with the police cars, and then Bryan like being so joyful that he won, and then Roman being like, "Man, he let up on the gas. Like you didn't win a thing. He
It's
just
a baby
wanted
gift."
It was a baby gift." Yeah, and Paul Walker, the joy draining from his face, being confused and disillusioned and upset. Some of the best acting.
Oh
in
yeah,
this series so far. Just a great moment.
and Han hits him with that shade so good of the. Told you didn't see it. I didn't see what.
Very briefly, the fight between Dom and Hobbs. They have that moment where Hobbs grabs the wrench, and then Dom overtakes him, grabs the wrench, and looks like he's about to smash him with it, and just smashes right next to his head instead of hitting him. It was kind of a neat callback to the original way where he became a villain, not villain. Yeah, Life of Crime.
Yeah.
So it was just like a nice little callback and something you probably wouldn't notice unless you'd seen the other movies. So it's just like a nice little
I think
detail.
Hobbs calls him out on it.
He does.
Earlier on in the film. I think where he talks about like,
Oh, yeah.
when he beat the guy with the wrench. So I think it's also calling back to that, but it is also like, it's not.
It's a
I
twinge
wouldn't say
of
it's subtle because these films are not subtle with anything, but it's for these films, it's subtle.
this series does a good job of getting little glimpses of growth. All the characters are who they are, but that's a moment where it's like, okay, like he has grown since the start of this, and here's some evidence of it.
Just not in height.
There's always platform shoes.
I love how many fucking Vin Diesel height jokes we're getting as the series goes on. It's just it brings me joy.
Vin Diesel's not going to be a fan of this series, is he?
Nah, he's really not.
He'll listen to what I'm saying. Fuck these guys,
Matt. You're not going to be invited to Fast 20.
My favorite line. I've got two, and they are from Leo and Santos. There's two moments. So the one is my favorite moment is when they get sent in to go deal with all the shit pipes so they can do stuff. And he goes, why do you gotta be so negative, man? And Santos goes, I'm not negative. I'm just positive you're gonna mess it up.
Yeah.
I was like, that is gold. Like, that is pure gold. So that was a good moment. And my favorite line is at the end when they're at the casino, Santos and Leo. And Leo puts his money on red. And he goes, when I win here, I'll buy you a lifetime supply of antidepressants. Like, that's it. Like, those guys are just so underrated in this movie. I love it.
What's great about the casino bit as well is they're like, you don't go in and you put $10 million on red. You put it on black.
I wish they came back at all in the franchise. This is the end of their characters, which is kind of a bummer because they were fun. But I get it. You don't
probably lost all the money and ended up like destitute, and then got arrested for vagrancy in Monaco.
Matt, you didn't get to your lines, right?
No,
right,
I did
turn.
not. So like literally, there's been two on my list that have both been used up. Like, so I had the Why You Got Me So Negative Man bit that was on there, and also the Are We Talking No Racing that was on my list. But what I do have here, and I think it's great, it's the bit with the remote control car.
Yeah,
and it's just Roman going, see, now I know why you always get into accidents. You can't even drive a remote controlled car. It's so
that was
good.
a good one. That was a good one.
That's a good one.
But again, like moments wise, there's so many good, like, yes, fault stuff aside, there's also, that favela chase is so good.
So the train heist is amazing. Like all the way up to like them launching off the cliff at the end. All great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't talk about the fact that they rolled a bus 52 times and
that happened in 4. It happened in
Dom didn't break his neck.
Told you the rule. If we're talking about 4, it happened in 5. If we're talking about 5, it happened in 4. You're like, ignore the stupid bus thing. It's my family's favorite thing. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Everyone in there would be liquid.
Especially when you see like the fiberglass foam flying out. Like nothing is safe, guys. If fiberglass filling like that is flailing about, human bodies are everywhere. We've recovered every passenger.
Yeah, like
Number one.
The only person who survives that is Michael Myers.
It's okay, guys. It's okay. They all had their seatbelts on. It's fine.
Everyone is liquid.
This is me being optimistic again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, we need to stop talking about 4. This is about 5. All right, let's do a quick round of plugs. We're gonna say goodbye. This has been our longer episode, but I kind of expected that because this has been the best movie we've talked about so far, at least according to I think 3 of us. Joelson not quite sure if he's gonna make that commitment or not. We'll wait for the rankings on that one.
Get off your horse.
Whoa, do you see the best film we've talked about so far? It's not better than The Terminator or the
I'm talking about in shitty sandwich time. Obviously.
Just kidding, Joel.
I know.
So plugs. This show, the show ATH Network. Be sure to check out athpod.com. That's all I'm saying this week because we've been talking a long time. Go ahead, Joel.
Afterthoughts is a book reading club with Kelly. We are doing Lord of the Rings 2 Towers, Dune someday. I promise this year. I made my commitment. Super GG Radio is a video game podcast.
Not on TikTok. He's saying you only have 6 months left.
Okay. All right. Fair. Super GG.
Yeah, no. Don't do it on TikTok.
Let me do my plugs, man. I'm in a video game podcast. We're doing a Summer Games Fest. So stay tuned for some cool preview stuff coming through our channels.
I'm excited to see what you have to say about the one game. I'm not sure if you can talk about it here, but I'm very excited. I already kind of hinted at it with that statement. Go ahead, Ryan.
You can find me at the Front Row Network, where I do host on the main thread, but I also have my own show on that network called Front Row Flashbacks, where we talk about movies from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s.
Matt, anything to plug?
No.
Thank you, Joel.
Well said.
Yeah, all right.
I managed to say that without opening my mouth.
You sounded an awful lot like
Joel.
Joel.
You're a good puppeteer.
I
Matt's
think
a puppeteer.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think in this case, I'm the mannequin.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. Fast 5 was awesome. And I'm incredibly excited to talk about Furious 6. We haven't talked about how stupid the titles are in this franchise at all. We probably should have at some point, but maybe next week. All right, bye.
What's really weird is it seems like the wreck.
Ah!
No. Stop recording.